New Jeans, Korean, briefly known as NJZ, is a South Korean girl group formed by ADOR, a sublabel of HYBE. The group was initially composed of 5 members: Minji, Hanni, Danielle, Haran, and Hyun. Mainly produced by Min Hee-jin, they are known for their girl next door image and musical stylings reminiscent of the 1990s and 2000s. The group debuted under the name New Jeans on July 22, 2022, with the single Attention, their first #1 song on South Korea's Circle Digital chart. It was followed shortly afterwards by 2 other singles, Hype Boy and Cookie, with Hype Boy becoming the longest-running song on the Billboard Global 200 by a K-pop female act. The singles were all featured on their eponymous debut Extended Play (EP), released in August 2022. In January 2023, they released their first single album, OMG, to commercial success. It was accompanied by 2 singles, Ditto and OMG. Ditto gained widespread popularity, becoming the longest-running #1 song on the Circle Digital chart and the group's first entry on both the Billboard Hot 100 and the UK Singles Chart. Their second EP, Get Up, peaked at #1 on the US Billboard 200 and sold over 1 million copies in South Korea. Its lead single, Super Shy, became the group's highest-charting single on the Billboard Global 200, #2, the US Billboard Hot 100, and the UK Singles Chart. New Jeans has received Rookie Awards and was featured in listicles such as Time Next Generation Leaders and Forbes Korea Power Celebrity 40. IFPI named New Jeans the 8th best-selling artist worldwide in 2023. In 2024, a dispute over New Jeans management arose as former ADOR CEO Min Hee-jin and the members clashed with HYBE and ADOR executives. The members sought to terminate their contract, which ADOR denied. In March 2025, the Seoul Central District Court granted an injunction filed by ADOR, blocking the group from carrying out independent activities. The group subsequently announced a hiatus later that month. The court ruled in favor of ADOR on October 30, which resulted in Hyun and Haran agreeing to return to the label. On December 29, it was announced that Hanni had also agreed to return, while Danielle's contract was terminated. Discussion regarding Minji's contract is ongoing. On November 28, 2024, during disputes between ADOR's former CEO Min Hee-jin and ADOR's parent company HYBE, Marsh and the other members of New Jeans announced their contracts with ADOR were terminated, while ADOR stated the contracts remained in full effect. In November 2025, the Seoul Central District Court ruled the contracts between the members and ADOR were valid until 2029. On December 29, ADOR announced the termination of its contract with Marsh, stating that it would be difficult for her to return to New Jeans and the label. The label added that it was planning to hold a member of Marsh's family responsible for the legal dispute, alongside Min Hee-jin. On the following day, ADOR sued Marsh, one of her family members, and Min Hee-jin for approximately 43 billion Korean wons, $29.8 million in damages.
Yeah, so there were all these rules, and then I realized afterwards that a lot of these rules didn't have much meaning. And for example, and these are just little things, you had to leave a message before you were able to go to the toilet, and this was even in free time. And you were constantly being watched over when you were in the practice room, so you didn't have much freedom at all. I also actually remember, this is kind of weird, but I remember having to take pictures of what I ate before I was actually able to consume it, and I had to send them pictures to our manager, and she would have to check it. Anyway, there were lots of little things, and the reason that we had to follow all these rules, this is how I felt, the reason that we had to follow all these rules was because otherwise we felt like we weren't going to be able to fulfill, we weren't going to be able to debut. We felt that they were just going to cut us if we didn't obey all these rules. Case. And this, of course, very much changed when I met Minijin Taepyeonnim. I remember her being also extremely shocked when she heard about our life as a trainee. It was because of that time, definitely that time as a trainee, that I spent that time that I spent in such a confined environment, that I slowly grew ignorant of my emotions. I don't know how I went through that at that time. it just like looking back now, I could never go through that again, because now I know how much that changed me. Yeah. And we were very, very lucky. We were so, so lucky, because we got to meet Minijin Tepenim, who was there to help us like kind of break through that barrier, at least in a very creative way. So she was able to like, yeah, bring back that creative side of us, bring back that side of us that wants to do music, that wants to really, build a relationship with music.